Imagine this. You just finished a messy, mud-caked obstacle course. Your clothes? Absolutely wrecked, covered in mud. Every inch of fabric is soaked and stained, and you can barely recognize the original color of your outfit. Now imagine trying to sneak those muddy clothes back into your closet without your mom noticing. You tiptoe through the house, hoping she doesn't catch a whiff of the dirt and grime. That's kind of what money laundering is like, except instead of muddy clothes, it's dirty money, and instead of your mom, it's the government. The stakes are much higher and the consequences far more severe. Criminals, much like our muddy friend, get their hands dirty, but not with mud. They deal with money that's tainted by illegal activities. We're talking about things like drug trafficking, smuggling, and other nefarious deeds that you often see dramatized in movies and TV shows. Think drug trafficking, smuggling, you name it, all those bad guy things you see in movies. These activities generate huge amounts of cash, but this cash is dirty because it's linked to crime. Just like you can't walk around with mud-caked clothes, criminals can't just spend their dirty money freely. They need to find a way to disguise the origins of their ill-gotten gains. They need a way to clean their money to make it look like it came from legitimate sources. This process is called money laundering, and it's essential for them to avoid detection. That's where money laundering comes in. It's a sophisticated process that involves multiple steps to obscure the money's criminal origins. It's their way of sneaking those dirty profits back into the clean financial system, making it look like they earned it fair and square. They might use businesses, real estate, or even art to launder their money. Think of money laundering as giving dirty money a complete makeover. It's like taking something filthy and transforming it into something that appears pristine and legitimate. It's like taking that pile of cash earned from, say, selling smuggled exotic parrots and making it look like it came from selling lemonade at a stand. Sounds ridiculous, right? That's because it is. But it's a necessary step for criminals to enjoy their profits without raising suspicion. Once the money is laundered, they can spend it on luxury items, expensive cars, and a lavish lifestyle without fear of getting caught. The clean money blends seamlessly into the economy, making it hard to trace back to its dirty origins. However, law enforcement agencies are constantly on the lookout, tracking money trails and investigating suspicious financial activities to catch these criminals in the act. The battle between criminals and authorities is ongoing, with each side trying to outsmart the other. Money laundering is a way to make dirty money look clean. It's a process that criminals use to disguise the origins of their illicit cash, making it appear as though it came from legitimate sources. Imagine criminals are trying to deposit a huge pile of cash that smells like smuggled coffee beans. This cash could come from various illegal activities such as drug trafficking, smuggling, or even corruption. Banks are going to get suspicious, right? Financial institutions have strict regulations and monitoring systems in place to detect unusual transactions, so they can't just waltz into a bank and deposit their ill-gotten gains. Doing so would raise red flags and could lead to investigations and arrests. They need a better plan. That's why they launder the money. They make it squeaky clean in the eyes of the law. This involves a series of complex transactions designed to hide the money's true origin. It's all about creating a believable story for where the money came from. This could involve setting up fake businesses, creating false invoices, or even using offshore accounts. Think of it as giving the money a fake passport and a new identity to blend in with the legitimate cash. The goal is to make the dirty money indistinguishable from clean money. Money laundering is a global problem, and it's more common than you think. It affects economies, fuels corruption, and undermines the integrity of financial systems worldwide. It's not just something that happens in movies, it's happening in our world every day. Criminals are constantly finding new ways to launder money, making it a cat-and-mouse game with law enforcement. But the good news is, people are fighting back. Governments, financial institutions, and international organizations are working together to combat money laundering. Just like we wouldn't want dirty clothes stinking up our homes, we don't want dirty money stinking up our financial system. By staying vigilant and implementing strict regulations, we can help keep our financial systems clean and transparent. Now, how do these sneaky criminals actually wash their dirty money? It's a question that has intrigued many and is crucial to understanding the underbelly of financial crimes. Well, it's a three-step process: placement, layering, and integration. Each stage is meticulously planned to ensure the money appears legitimate by the end. This is the first rinse cycle. Placement is where the dirty money first enters the financial system. Criminals need to get their dirty money into the legitimate financial system somehow. This is often the riskiest stage because it involves direct contact with financial institutions. They might break up large sums of cash into smaller deposits, a tactic known as smurfing, to avoid detection. They could also use cash-intensive businesses like car washes or laundromats, which naturally deal with a lot of cash transactions, or even buy expensive items like art or jewelry, which can later be sold to retrieve the money in a cleaner form. Now it's time for a good spin cycle. This is where the layering stage comes in. Criminals try to create complex layers of transactions to make it really hard to trace the money back to them. This stage is all about obfuscation. They might move money between different accounts, often across various banks and countries, or even invest in businesses to create a confusing paper trail. The goal is to make the money trail as convoluted as possible. The final rinse. This is the integration stage. The now clean money is reintroduced into the economy, looking as innocent as a basket of freshly laundered socks. At this point, it's nearly impossible to distinguish it from legitimate funds. They might buy fancy houses, invest in legitimate businesses, or even donate to charities to make themselves look like upstanding citizens. These actions not only clean the money, but also help criminals build a facade of respectability. Remember those smuggled parrots? After this three-step wash cycle, the money from those parrots could end up funding a fancy new restaurant. Crazy, right? It's a sophisticated game of hide and seek. This is why understanding these steps is so important in the fight against money laundering. Awareness and vigilance are key to combating this financial crime.